Great day, kings and queens. Welcome to another conversation with Drew, where it's an honor to be able to share my gift with you guys, where it's truly a blessing to be able to share the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that I've gained through these experiences that's causing me to become the best version of myself, that I may share this with you so that you may become the best version of yourself. This is a wonderful Wednesday, and it is absolutely incredible to be in front of you guys today. It's a blessing, I'm just, going over my life and very, very grateful to be able to see, how far I've come, but not for myself. I understand that this is not for me, that it is truly, to be a blessing to you guys. It was amazing as I was thinking this morning about the things that, I wanted to share with you guys. And I was talking about yesterday, the things of understanding your work, versus your job, and understanding your purpose and truly getting to that place. And, I want to help you guys piece it all together. It's like, I know you hear me get on here and we, discuss certain things, but I really want to help you guys really piece this thing together. And, the Creator was showing me, great day, queen. The Creator was showing me, the process, how I got here, piecing it all together for myself. And back in 2010, going into 2011, I was in a relationship, with my son's mother, and, and I was hot and heavy, and I thought that this was it. And, we ended up getting a place together. And I was just starting to get into my personal training at the time, but I didn't know how to do things. And I wouldn't have got a place with her. I wouldn't have had a child out of wedlock. I was ignorant to this. This is what I thought that I was supposed to do. This is basically what I've been shown my entire life. And so this is what I thought that I was supposed to be involved with, right? Because love, and you get, together, and yeah, you get it. And so at the end of 2011, it was so amazing, how, God got my attention. And I'm not saying that everybody's going to have to go through this, right? But at the end of 2011, her and I had split. And so now I'm left to take care of, the apartment by myself. Mind you, I just started my personal training business. It had its ups and downs. But at the end of the day, this was my first place. So I'm, trying to piece things together, pay for all the bills and so forth and so on. And so the very last month on my lease, I got evicted. Now, this is what's so powerful, right? When you understand that everything that you go through in life, literally everything that you go through in life is a strategy. It's the Creator's strategy to get you to the place that you're supposed to be. It's just that we don't pay attention to it like that. We look at hardships and we get depressed and we get discouraged. Well, I was evicted, right? And I remember getting the phone call from my little brother Jamal. He called me. He said, "King, you got to hurry up and get home, man. They throwing all your stuff out." Mind you, I put about $12,000-$13,000 in all of this stuff, and they just throwing all my brand new stuff out on the front lawn. And so I hurry up, because I was out actually training somebody at the gym. So I literally hurry up, jump into my car, and I'm mashing home. And I'm just like, man, God, I'm like, why is this happening? It was literally like he was sitting in the passenger seat of the vehicle and said, "Drew, I told you to stop smoking, and I told you to stop having sex." Listen, I gotta be real, right? I know I'm transparent. The night before, I had invited this young woman over to the house, that I was involved with or messing with, whatever you want to call it. We had just, smoked, I used to smoke weed, right? And we had just smoked some blunts together, and I was trying not to have sex with her, right? And so this is what's so crazy, right? We walking up the stairs, we about to go, and I'm about to let her go home, and, I end up letting her, give me some oral sex, right? And so this is what's so deep about this story, right? I want to say like a month before, right? My brother Frederick Wright ended up calling me, and he was just like, man, he got on the phone. He was like, man, come on, Drew. You know what I mean? I'm listening like, what, what you mean, come on? He like, man, come on, Drew. He said, man, do I really got to tell you, man? He said, man, you out here, man, getting high. Mind you, I hadn't talked to him in a while, right? He like, man, you out here getting high, man. You out here having sex, man. Come on, King. Like, literally, I'm looking around my crib. I'm spooked. I'm spooked at this point, looking around, looking for cameras. Like, man, how he know this stuff? I'm literally looking around like, man, how he know all of this stuff? What's going on? So I'm listening to him like, man, come on, man. He said, man, God spoke to me earlier that day. And he said, and we said, and while I was praying, he said, God spoke to me and told me to leave you alone. He said, but I told God that I wasn't going to leave you alone, that I was going to fight for you. And he said, so then he ended up praying later on that night before he called me. And God told him to say, if you're going to fight for him, call him and tell him this. And this is what he's telling me on the phone, right? I'm really sitting here like, man, how did he know this? But it's so amazing, though. So we speed back up to this day before the eviction. And so, again, I allowed this woman to give me oral sex. So in my mind, I'm cool. I didn't have sex with her, but she gave me some oral sex, right? So now, on the day of the eviction, as I'm driving home, you know, he tells me that, you know, you have to stop having sex and you have to stop smoking weed. So literally, I get evicted, right? I didn't have no other choice. I had to go to the couch of my mother's home. And at that moment, at that time, I said, you know what, Father? I ain't the worst dude in the world. I'm not out here wilding out. Compared to what I've seen, what I've grown up around, I was a saint in the stuff that I was doing. But what he showed me is that he wanted my attention. And when you understand, when the creator's trying to get your attention, he's trying to get your attention because the creator and it created you to be creative. So you can't be creative if you are out of your mind or if you're intoxicated, right? This is the creator. We are the created. And so what he was showing me that I had something greater in my life to do outside of what I was doing. And so he had to get my attention this way, right? I'm talking about it literally felt like he took a sledgehammer to my nuts. I'm talking about he broke me down completely. And so here it is. I'm on the couch of my mother. I had to put all my stuff in storage. And I literally said, I'm telling you the truth, you guys. I literally said, Father, whatever it is, whatever you're calling me to do, I'm willing to do it. And that at that moment, now listen, no magic trick happened. You know what I mean? I don't want people to believe that no magic trick happened and everything just went like voila to me just being on fire in purpose. But me changing my mindset began to prepare me to get to the position and place that I'm in right now. That's what you have to understand. You have to say yes to in your mindset to what it is that you were created to do. This is purpose. This is your work. Now, I was explaining it yesterday about the word work, which is the word ergon in Hebrew, E-R-G-O-N. And that means to become. It has many meanings, but one of the meanings is to become. And the reason why you have to understand that is because you are to be constantly becoming the greatest version of yourself. You are to be constantly becoming what the creator created you to become, because you have that much value on your life. Now here it is. I just got evicted. I'm at my lowest of lowest. I'm at the bottom, but I recognized that it was something that was calling me to be greater than what I was doing. Mind you, I had beat obesity at that time. I was in super shape. Mind you, I had my first place. Mind you, I started my personal training business. So I'm up in my mind, right? I think I'm winning in my mind, right? But that was not the case, because it was something greater that I was created to do. Just like there's something greater that you're created to do. So it doesn't matter your circumstances. It does not matter your situation. It does not matter any rut that you're in. It doesn't matter at any pitfall that you're experiencing. The reality of it is there's something greater that you're created to do. And so I had to go through this eviction. Mind you, I'm on the last month of my lease. They could have literally said, you're good. You know what I mean? You can stay to the end of your lease, or, you know what I mean, we'll work with you some way. The whole year that I was out there, I never seen nobody get evicted, y'all. Literally, I've never seen nobody's stuff thrown out on their front lawn. But what God ended up telling me was they didn't have the authority to do that. I did that. And looking back at it, it's clear because I'm here where I am 5 years later, right? And so this is what's so great about understanding your work. Let me break the word work down so you really understand it, as opposed to a job. Because a lot of people don't know this, because we've been conditioned to work a job instead of work, literally becoming, right? When we look at a bird was purposed to fly, correct? So even though we see a bird standing on a tree, or even though we see a bird walking on the ground, right? That bird is not working until it's flying, right? So when we see a bird flying, we don't say that the bird is jobbing. We say that the bird is what? It's working, right? So when you get into your vehicle, right? The vehicle was purposed to take you to a destination. So even when the car is just sitting idle, it's not working, right? When that car begins to take you to your destination because it was purposed to drive, we say what? That car is working. You have a hair dryer. The hair dryer looks nice. It looks beautiful when it's brand new, sitting on a box, sitting on your countertop, right? But when you take that hair dryer out of the box and you plug it in and you begin to use the hair dryer to dry your hair, we say that hair dryer is what? It's working. Why? Because it's doing what it was purposed to do. That's the difference between your job and your work. When you are going to a job, that's not working. That's jobbing. When a bird is sitting on a tree, that bird is not working. It is not working until we see it take flight and it flaps its wings and we see that bird is in the air flying. We say that bird is working. That's the difference between your job and your work. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Your job, they can fire you from. Your work, they can't hire. Your job, they determine your salary. Your work, you determine your worth. You have that much value on your life. A job you can retire from. When you're done with your work, it's time for you to go home. This is what you have to understand, kings and queens. That when a seed is planted in the ground and it begins to produce fruit, we say that seed or that tree is working. When I was evicted from my home, I was jobbing at the time, even as a personal trainer, right? And this is what you have to understand as far as your value. Strategically, I was being set up by the Creator to become the speaker Drew Clayborn was called to be. So this is how I got into that lane. As I was working with people, as I was helping people, what I naturally desired to do, which was to be a help to people, I was seeing that there was a process that needed to take place in the mind first, because we weren't getting the result, regardless of all the great experience that I gained from transforming my own life from 300 pounds to a world-class bodybuilder, regardless of all the studying that I did, becoming a IFPA fitness trainer. Regardless of all of that, we were still hitting roadblocks. So I began on my mother's couch. I began to personal develop Drew Clayborn. This is why I had to hit my mother's couch, right? This is why I had to be set down, because I began to study the mindsets of the Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I began to study the mindsets of the Charles F. Haanel's the Master Key System. I began to study the mindsets of the Florence Scovel Shinn, the Game of Life and How to Play It. I began to study the mindsets of the James Allens, As a Man Thinketh. Why? Because all of these principles were aligning themselves with the basic instructions before leaving Earth, the Bible. So as I began to see these things correlating, I began to see these principles, I identified the problem. All on my mother's couch after me being evicted. So I began to see that the mindset needed to be shifted in order for them to get the things or the results that they desire out of life. This is how I became the speaker. So what I'm saying to you is that I found my work in that dark place. I found my work at the bottom of my life. I found that work when I was flatly wiped out and did not know what to do. Again, the word work is ergon. It means to become. I began to become who I was created to be. This is how I can get on here every morning and pour so much out, and seems like I'm never running out of information. Why? Because I was placed in a position to become. This is what you have to understand. I was born to do this. I was created to do this. That's why I did not have to go to school in order to do this. I'm not saying that education is not important, because for the last 5 years, I've educated myself week in and week out. I'm saying to you that in order for you to become what the Creator created you to be, you have to become. This is what your mindset has to shift to. Not me going out here making money. Not me going out here working a job. Not me going out here looking to get in a position to retire. Listen to me. What I'm saying to you is that your work is the reason why you were created. Your work. Not your job, your work. Because you are so valuable that what's inside of you can change the world. When we look at Stephen Jobs, who created the whole iPhone thing, right? Stephen Jobs wasn't jobbing. Stephen Jobs was working. When we look at when we look at Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan wasn't jobbing when he became the best NBA player in the world. He is working, right? When we look at the Wright brothers who built airplanes, right? The Wright brothers wasn't jobbing, they were working. When we look at the individuals like Albert Einstein, one of the smartest men that we know in history, Albert Einstein wasn't jobbing, he was working. When we look at LeBron James, when we see the magnificent gift that he's operating in, for him to win a championship for a team that didn't have one, we don't say LeBron James is jobbing, we say that he's working. So what I'm saying to you today, kings and queens, is that when you look at these people who astonish you, who are absolutely amazing to you, who you say are your heroes, look at them not jobbing, look at them working. They're working because they're doing exactly what they were created to do. That's why when we look in awe and amazement, we see that it looks effortless. That's why when you look at me, when I speak, you say, man, Drew, it seems effortless. You just do it with so much conviction and passion. Why? Because I'm working. That's it. I'm working because I was created to do this. I was created to be successful and wealthy from doing this. Because this is what was placed in me to produce. Just like the seed was placed in you to be great in whatever area of gifting that you were created to be great in, and for you to have authority and dominance in, that is called working. That's why your job and your pay continues to frustrate you. You think that I'm frustrated doing this every day? Man, this is a joy. You don't understand. Me starting my day off doing this is absolutely amazing. It makes the rest of my day flow like water because I was created to do this. So me pouring this out to you guys, God had to create a platform for me to be able to express this on. You got to think, at the age of 33 years ago, there was no Facebook nor Facebook Live. So how is it that now when I come into my purpose, now when I come into my area of gifting, Facebook Live creates itself? Look, Facebook Live's been out since Facebook been out since I've been in college. Facebook Live is new. So this literally, when you understand, again, this is strategy. I didn't have to do this. All I had to do was getting the operation of my work and began to work it, and this had to present itself to me. So there's going to be many platforms that I'm able to go on and work on. Not me jobbing though. Not me jobbing. I'm not slaving in a sense of me working somebody else's dream. I'm a slave to the gift. And this is what else I want to help people to understand too before I get off of here, right? It says that the gift and the calling is without repentance, meaning that when you see somebody operating in their gift and their calling, for all you religious-minded people out there, and y'all say like, well, they ain't living for God, or they're not a Christian, or they're not a Muslim, or they're not practicing these certain religious beliefs, how is that they're succeeding? The gift and calling without repentance, meaning that if you are an atheist, if you are racist, if you are hateful, but you still recognize your gift and you work that gift, it still has to work. It's just said without repentance, meaning not changing your mind back to the way the Creator wanted you to operate in your gift like. So that means that you can still have influence on people, you can still impact people, but it won't be to the full magnitude of it. So the reason why I got in a relationship with the Creator, because I realized that the Creator, the source, gave me the resource. Therefore, as the resource and operating in the resource, there's no way that the gift can't reach its maximum potential. That's why I got in a relationship with the Creator. Now, it still does not matter, right? This is what's so deep, right? It's so dope how this worked, right? My brother K Camp, right? He ran into one of my homies that I went to college with out of Dayton, my man Pug, my man Ace, Adrian Cremines, Ace Boogie, right? And when he ran into him a few weeks ago, he said, man, it's so crazy to see you and Drew doing what y'all doing. He said, man, Drew was spitting this same stuff when we was getting high. So it's saying that it's always been in me. It's just that I didn't have the conscious, or I wasn't cognizant of how to cultivate it the right way. Not until I got out of myself, out of the things that Andrew Clayborn wanted to do, that I can walk in the fullness of it. But I still had the gift back then. I still had the drive, conviction, and passion back then, all while I was getting high. But I had to remove the weed. I had to remove the woman to be able to walk in the fullness of the gift. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why it says the gift and the calling is without repentance, because the gift was still there. The conviction, the passion, it was still there. The wisdom, it was still there. It was tainted because I was getting high. It was skewed, or it was jaded because I was getting high. Now that my mind has been cleared for the last 5-6 years of my life, I'm able to pour out in clarity. I'm able to maximize my potential. But I was still working back then while I was getting high. Y'all gotta get this, man. So I'm helping you to understand that, because it's saying that regardless of where you are, regardless of who you are right now, regardless of what circumstance you are in right now, regardless of the downfalls or the pit that you're in right now, you have the capability to find your work. Period. You don't have to be no super saint Christian out here to find your work. Period. What you have to do is recognize the greatness in you, the value that's in you, the gift, the treasures that's in you. That's what caused me to get a relationship with the Creator, because I wanted to go directly to the plug. See, in the dope game, you understand, you don't want to work with the middleman. You want to go to the plug. Why? Because you go to the plug, you get the price cheaper, or you get the best quality. You understand what I'm saying? So I wanted to go to the plug. I wanted to go to the source and get all the information about my gift. Why? Because if I am a Mercedes-Benz product, I'm not going to go to BMW and ask, how do I function? Even though they make cars and they can tell me, well, you can drive or you can steer, but they can't tell me how I was created to drive, how I was created to steer. So I'm going to go to the manufacturer to get the information. So what I'm saying to you this morning, kings and queens, is that the value that's in you, the purpose that's on your life, the work that you were created to do, will change the world forever once you begin to understand the difference between a job and your work. Your job, again, is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. But the amazing thing about what you were born to do, it has the provision in it. Your provision is in your purpose. What you're looking for is in your purpose. You are created to be successful. You are created to be wealthy. So those desires are absolutely right. You are created to have that. Nobody is supposed to be poor. That's a lie. People look at Christ and say, oh, well, Christ was just a carpenter. If you understand the times back then, Christ was balling. Because as a contractor, you was making money. Look at contractors now today. Who are building buildings. Are they poor? No. But it says he who was rich became poor so that you may become rich. You're supposed to be successful. People have made holy and poverty synonymous. It's a lie. If that's the case, then the most holy person on the earth is a bum in the street. So we know that that's a lie. We know that that's not true. We're not supposed to be poor. We're not supposed to be struggling. We're not supposed to be financially deficient. That's a lie. So, because if that's the case, if your holiness is proven by how poor you are, then why do you go and work a job every day? Why are you seeking to make more money then? Answer me that. Why don't you just let everything go and just be poor and be homeless? Exactly. Case in point. So what I'm saying to you today, kings, what I'm saying to you today, queens, is that the value that you have on your life, the work that you were created to do, what you were created to become, is inside of you. You have to take the time to cultivate that. There's information that cultivates those seeds, right? So the information that you currently have is, you know how to go to a job and learn the skill set that the job is requiring and demanding of you and perform it. So you've been doing this for decades. You've been doing this for a long time. So that's the only information that you have in your bucket. Well, that information is not the water that you need in order to grow your seed. So you have to put in new information. You have to put in information that's conducive, that was created. And that is books that tells you how to find and fulfill your purpose. The Pursuit of Purpose by Dr. Miles Monroe. Maximizing Your Potential by Dr. Miles Monroe, Bishop Jake's Instinct, Bishop Jake's Destiny, The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren. These are just a few titles that's out there, but when you begin to ingest this information, it begins to cultivate the seed that's inside of you that will help you become. You have that type of greatness in you. You have that type of purpose on your life that literally can cause you to become the greatest version of yourself. But if you become the greatest version of you, that means that we will get the greatest version of you. And whatever it is that you have, whatever treasures you have, I'm telling you, it will literally bless this earth to become better. People are jobbing, they are not working, and that's why they're malfunctioning. Anytime that you don't see a bird, anytime you see a bird being unable to fly, that means that it's not working, it is malfunctioning, it is on its way to what? Death. If a bird can't fly, it's going to die. If a fish can't swim, it's going to die. If a lion can't hunt in the wild, it's going to die. That means that it's not working, it's malfunctioning. A lion was created to hunt. A bird was created to fly. That means that it's working. A fish was created to swim. It was purpose to swim. That means that it's working. So when it's unable to do that, it is malfunctioning and it will die. So that's why it feels like you're dying every single day jobbing, because you're not working and you're malfunctioning. I get life by doing this. I am rejuvenated every day by doing this. I am blessed abundantly every day by doing this. But I'm not doing this for Andrew Clayborn. I'm doing this for the glory of the Creator. But I'm also doing this to be a reflection and an image and an example of what it looks like to work. I am working because I was created to speak. I was created to motivate. I was created to inspire. I was created to speak life. I was created to do this. So I'm working. So what I'm saying to you today, kings and queens, is that what it is that you desire out of life, everything that you desire, the peace, the joy, the happiness, the abundance, the prosperity, the overflow, all of the above, it is in your work. When you discover your work, you begin to work and you'll begin to become the greatest version of yourself. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love you guys. This is a wonderful Wednesday. Bless you guys. Have an amazing day. Again, if you want to donate to any proceeds to this movement that we're doing, again, we're taking this global. We're going to one day be off of Facebook Live. I'm sorry to disappoint. Email me at andrewdclayborn@gmail.com for a donation. Inbox me. I'll give you the instructions on how to donate, or DM me because I'm putting this on Instagram. I love you guys. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Peace.